Welcome back. It's the top of the second inning now, and the Airhogs have a 5-0 lead here in Laredo, the second of this three-game set, facing off against starting pitcher Mike Shreves. Madison Carter will lead off this top of the second inning. Carter, the only batter to not come to the plate in the first, as the Airhogs scored 5 runs on 3 hits. Lines the first pitch into right field, and it's going to bounce in front of Dennis Phipps in right. And Carter jumps on the first pitch from Mike Shreves to get a single here to lead off this second inning. Next batter is Jimmy Mojica, who flew out to center field in the first. Mojica last night scored a couple of runs, went 2 for 5. Also reached on an error by the pitcher. Looks at one outside from Shreves. Ball 1. Shreves so far this year is 1-0 against the Airhogs. Started against them on June 29th as he pitched through 6 innings, only giving up 2 runs on 6 hits. No strikeouts and 2 walks for Shreves, who is a rookie out of the University of Montevideo and a native of Bradenton, Florida. Set for the 2-0 pitch against Jimmy Mojica. Here it is. That's just a little high to the former Laredo Lemur. And the count now moves to 3-0. On deck is Alex Nunez. Shreves set again at the letters. Here's the 3-0, and it's inside to Mojica, and a 4-pitch walk. So quickly, runners at first and second base for the Airhogs. They're threatening again in the top of the second. It was a grand slam from Brian Peterson that opened up our scoring 4-0 here in the first, and then Frazier Hall went opposite field to left to make it 5-0 Airhogs directly after that grand slam. Alex Nunez started off this game with the first base hit of the night, an infield single to the right side, and then he later scored in the first. Now runners at first and second base and nobody out. Here's the first pitch to Nunez, lined into left field. Going back is Wiley. Can he make the catch? No. Bounces off the wall. Carter's going to round third and score. Mojica will get a stop sign at third. An RBI double from Alex Nunez. 6-0 Airhogs. And Alex Nunez, with 19 runs batted in now, that's double number 9 this year with Grand Prairie. And he's 2 for 2 tonight. Puts runners at second and third with nobody out, and the Airhogs have jumped out on one of the best teams in the league when it comes to scoring runs and grabbing home runs as well. The first pitch to Abel Nieves is low for ball 1. Yesterday, the Airhogs held Laredo to just 3 runs on 9 hits. Laredo this season is leading the American Association, batting .305 as a team, scoring a total of 363 runs on the year, which is second only to the Wichita Wingnuts, who are in first place in the American Association. A ball and a strike to Abel Nieves, who reached on an error by the shortstop in the first inning. Next pitch to him is inside for ball 2. Runners at second and third for the Airhogs and nobody out. The infield for Laredo is shifted in to the edge of the grass. As Abel Nieves, the Airhogs' lone all-star selection this season, lines a pitch into the screen, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Vince DeFazio was added late to the all-star game, but it's uncertain whether he's actually going to make the trip. Was injured earlier in this road trip and hasn't appeared since. So it's looking like Nieves will be the only man representing Grand Prairie in Winnipeg on Tuesday, as he lines a pitch on the ground foul down the first base line, and it's still 2-2 against Nieves, the 28-year-old and last year's American Association batting champ. Jason Botts is on deck 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch from Mike Shreves is on the way. Lined on the ground, and diving is good one, but he can't stop it from going into left. Mojica will score on the RBI single by Abel Nieves. Stopping at third is Nunez. It is 7-0 Airhogs here in the second inning. And they have really jumped out to a big lead against the home team Laredo in the second of this 3-game set. And here comes Jason Botts, the birthday boy. Botts drew a walk and scored a run in the first of this one. 7-0 Airhogs, and still nobody out in this second inning. Runners at the corners. Mike Shreves delivers to Botts, and it's just inside for ball one. Mike Shreves now over 40 pitches. Officially at 46 now. Here's 47. Hit into shallow left center field. Over the head of Goodwin. Nunez is going to score easily on that play, and it keeps coming. The Airhogs 8, Laredo nothing. RBI single from Jason Botts gives him 51 runs batted in this year. And he gets one on his 34th birthday, and emerging from the Laredo dugout now is Pete Incaviglia, and he is going to make a move to the bullpen. A very short outing from Mike Shreves, the rookie. Only an inning pitched and couldn't get an out in this second. And he will have the ball taken from him from Pete Incaviglia, the manager. A major breakdown here for Mike Shreves as his night is done, and Laredo will rely on the bullpen for the rest of this game. 8-0 is the score. Airhogs with runners at first and second and nobody out in the top of the second inning. We'll be back. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. It is 8-0 Airhogs here in the second inning. And a bullpen move made by Pete Incaviglia and the Laredo Lemurs early on in this game. Out of the pen comes Michael Suk, the right-hander. Suk this season has a record of 1-1, an ERA of 2.87, has appeared 22 times in relief, pitched a total of 31 1/3 innings. He's 24 years old and plays college ball at Nicholls State, a rookie out of Blairstown, New Jersey. And he inherits runners at first and second base and nobody out in this top of the second. Brian Myro is the batter for Grand Prairie, who lead at 8-0. First pitch from Michael Suk is low and inside for ball one. So leaving the game after just one inning as the starter, Mike Shreves, an inning plus, 13 batters faced, 8 runs given up on 7 hits, a walk and no strikeouts. But the interesting thing from Mike Shreves' stat line as Brian Myro looks at strike one on the inside corner, all 5 of the runs that scored in the first inning are unearned to Mike Shreves, as there was an error to the shortstop Devin Goodwin with a runner at first and 1 out, and that is what allowed Nieves to go to first base. So it possibly took away a double play effort there, as that is lined into right field. Dennis Phipps with the dive. He doesn't catch it. Nieves is going to stay at third base on the play. That'll be a single for Myro, loading the bases once again for the guy who had a grand slam in the previous inning, Brian Peterson. He stands in now. So Myro loads the bases once again. He popped up in foul territory to the third baseman with 1 out in the bases juiced in the first of this game. And then Peterson followed that up with a grand slam. And we'll see what Peterson can do with bases loaded and now nobody out in the top of the second. Michael Suk is the pitcher. Here is the first pitch. It's bounced foul down the third base line. So Mike Shreves officially has given up 8 runs, but still responsible for runners now at second and third base. So we'll see if that run total climbs any more. He does have 3 earned runs officially and could have 5 if Nieves and or Botts score later on in this inning, as Peterson looks at strike 1 on the outside corner. Or actually, that is strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to Brian Peterson, the former Laredo Lemur. Played 95 games for Laredo last year. Suk with the 0-2. That is bounced on the ground to the right side. Denker with the stop, and he's going to have to go to first base. Peterson almost beat out that throw, but by a half step he is out, but he does drive in Abel Nieves from third base, and it is now 9-0 Airhogs in the second inning of this one. Now the batter is Frazier Hall, who went deep to left field as well in this one, right after that grand slam by Brian Peterson. Now comes up with runners at second and third and 1 out in the second inning. First pitch is low and inside for ball 1. Hall with his 6th home run of the year. And that also gives the 26-year-old 25 RBIs. He had a couple last night, going 2 for 4 with a double and a single. It's this one high in the air to left center. And charging in is Wiley, the left fielder. He will make the grab. Botts is going to tag and go home. No, he's not. He's going to go back to the bag at third base. He started to go, but then stopped midway and went back to the third base bag. On the fly out by Frazier Hall. Now it's 2 down. And the 9th batter of the inning, Ride Rodriguez, will stand in. Rodriguez ended the first on a ground out to second base. Suk, the right-handed reliever, delivers to Rodriguez, and it's bounced right back to the pitcher's mound. Suk with the stop and the throw, and it will end the second inning. But 4 more runs score for the Airhogs, this time on 5 hits. No errors and 2 men left on base for the Airhogs, and they lead it 9-0 going to the bottom of the second inning. We'll be back. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Bottom of the second inning, and the Airhogs are on top of the Laredo Lemurs 9-0. Jason Jarvis on the mound, and he will face Dennis Phipps first in this bottom of the second inning here in Laredo, Texas at Unitrade Stadium. Dennis Phipps last night had a good outing, had a couple of doubles. One of them drove in 2 runs for Laredo, making the score 3-0 in the third of last night's game, but then the Airhogs came back with 6 unanswered runs for the win. And from the way things are looking now, they're well on their way to the second win, as well as a series victory over Laredo. Next pitch on the 0-1 to Dennis Phipps is inside, and it's a ball and a strike now to Phipps, who's batting .377 in 31 games this year for Laredo. Just came from affiliated ball, last played for Louisville. Swings and misses at that one. It's now 1-2. Phipps is a veteran, 29 years old, right-handed batter playing in right field. That is called strike 3 on the 1-2 pitch from Jason Jarvis, and his first strikeout of the night. And Phipps is out number 1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Well, Jason Jarvis is looking for his 4th straight win of the season. Has pitched very solidly for the Airhogs, but he also has gotten quite a bit of run support. He was the starting pitcher a couple of weeks ago when the Airhogs scored 9 runs in the first inning against the Sioux Falls Canaries. That was back on July 13th in Sioux Falls. Next batter, John Alonso, looks at strike 1. Alonso went 0 for 3 last night, and it pops it straight up in the air on the first base line. Jason Botts will have a play at it. No, it's going to bounce in the middle, right in front of home plate. Brian Peterson let that one drop in fair territory, and John Alonso is safe at first base. A mental miscue in the infield by the Airhogs. At first, Jason Botts was the one that was looking up in the air and seeing if he had a play at it. Brian Peterson, meanwhile, noticed that the ball was going to move into fair territory near his area, and all of a sudden he wasn't ready to catch the pop-up, and it bounced just about a few yards in front of home plate. The next batter is Byron Wiley, called strike 1 on the inside edge. So it'll be ruled a single for John Alonso, but really the Airhogs could have avoided that. Byron Wiley, left-handed batter, playing in left field. Last night he was the DH. He swings and misses at another pitch, breaking low and away for Jason Jarvis, and it's no balls and 2 strikes now. Byron Wiley, earlier this season, played for the Kansas City T-Bones, now has played 11 games for Laredo, batting .189. Jarvis set at the belt. This is line down the right field side, going to slash foul and out of play. And it's still 0-2 against Byron Wiley from Tomball, Texas, 27 years old. Byron Wiley last night went 0 for 4 against Grand Prairie in the 6-3 victory for the Airhogs. They're now 3-4 against Laredo this year, their South Division opponent, as well as interstate rival. Jarvis set again. Here's the pitch, and it's in the dirt low for ball 1. Carlos Ramirez is on deck for Laredo. The Airhogs with a 9-0 lead here in the second inning, as Brian Peterson calls time and jogs out to the mound to talk with Jason Jarvis. Jarvis is in his 8th start with the Airhogs this year. Started out this season with the Winnipeg Goldeyes. Last year was a pitcher for Sioux City. And last season for the Explorers, Jason Jarvis started in 18 games, grabbed 2 complete games for the X's last year, a record of 5-10, an ERA of 4.27. This next pitch is lined into left field, and it's going to go foul once again. Still a ball and 2 strikes to the left fielder, Byron Wiley, who almost made a leaping catch in left earlier in this game, but it ended up being a double for Alex Nunez, driving in a run en route to the Airhogs' 9-0 lead that they currently have. That is upstairs and a little inside to Wiley on the next pitch, and even count now at 2-2. Jason Jarvis now up to only 27 pitches. Runner at first base and 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. This next pitch lined into left center. And it's going a long way, and it's going to bounce to the warning track. Madison Carter picks it up. Coming around now to score is Alonso. The throw to the plate is not going to be in time as Alonso slides in safely for the first run of the game for Laredo. It is 9-1 Airhogs here in the second inning. An RBI triple by Byron Wiley. And we'll see if that is either a double and an advancement to third on the throw or ruled a triple by the official scorers. But either way, Byron Wiley has picked up an RBI on that base hit to left center field. And Wiley now has 5 RBIs as a Laredo Lemur. Also has 3 home runs with the Lemurs this year, and he's at third base with 1 out for the catcher, Carlos Ramirez. The windup in the pitch from Jarvis is a little outside for ball 1. Carlos Ramirez no longer the only catcher listed on the roster, as Laredo yesterday signed a rookie, Heath Holliday. As this next pitch also lined into left center, and they're not going to get to this one either. This time, Ride Rodriguez will pick it up. Wiley is going to jog home to make it 9-2 Airhogs. This will be a double for Carlos Ramirez. So the Lemurs answering the Airhogs attack from the first and second innings, and now Jeff Russell, the pitching coach, is out to talk with Jason Jarvis. He's given up a couple of runs here on 3 base hits in this second inning. The next batter is 9-hitter Harrison Kane, as the pitching coach Jeff Russell, former Texas Rangers closer, pitched 8 seasons with the Rangers and 13 seasons overall in the major leagues. First season as the Airhogs pitching coach, and he's out to check on Jason Jarvis, his starter. A runner at second base and 1 out in this bottom of the second inning, the second of this 3-game set. The Airhogs with a big cushion in this one. It's 9-2. The Airhogs leading it. Byron Wiley will be given a double and an advancement to third base on the throw home where John Alonso scored. Carlos Ramirez also with a double, driving in Wiley. He is at second base now with 1 out in the bottom of the second, and Harrison Kane is the batter. Harrison Kane last night went 1 for 4 with a double, and he will look at ball 1 just a little outside. Harrison Kane playing at third base, has also played in right field for Laredo this year. Hits this one high into left center. This one's going to hang up in the air, and Ride Rodriguez will make the catch this time for out number 2. Now the top of the order is back for Laredo with Nick Van Straten, who grounded out to shortstop in the first inning. Airhogs with 9 runs in the first 2 innings of this game, causing Pete Incaviglia to yank his starter, Mike Shreves, after just 1 inning pitched. Nick Van Straten, the all-star selection for Laredo, looks at ball 1 outside. Van Straten last night went 1 for 5 officially, now that his reach on an error got changed to an infield hit. Originally it was an error to the second baseman Alex Nunez. Next pitch is outside, 2-0 the count to Nick Van Straten. There's another veteran on this Laredo roster. Last season played in Sioux Falls. 29 years old, lives in Birmingham, Missouri. And that is just on the outside corner there. Making the count 2-1 to Nick Van Straten. Righty versus righty. Jason Jarvis has given up a couple of runs in this inning on 3 hits. So far, the Airhogs have out-hit the Lemurs 8-5, outscored them 9-2. Lemurs with 1 error that proved pretty costly as it could have ended the first inning without any runs given up. As this pitch gets behind Brian Peterson, no, it's actually going to hit Nick Van Straten on the ankle, so Ramirez will have to stay at second base on the hit by a pitch as time is called by the home plate umpire, Marty Bauer. And Van Straten will be given first base, bringing up J.P. Ramirez, the DH. Ramirez singled in the first inning, but then was put out at second base, trying to stretch that single into a double. And he looks at a pitch below his knees for ball 1. Ramirez last night with the only home run to right field that Laredo has seen here, as this next pitch is hit high in the air to left, going to drift in foul territory, and it will not be in play for Ride Rodriguez, making the count a ball and a strike. Takes a lot to drive a home run to right in this ballpark as the wind almost constantly blows from right to left field, and at very high speeds as well. 20 miles per hour today, and it usually drifts between 15 and 20 miles per hour from the southeast here in Laredo, making this a dream ballpark for right-handed power hitters. But Ramirez, the lefty, was able to go against the grain last night and drive a homer to right field. And he hits this one high into left, and it's also going to go foul. A ball and 2 strikes now to J.P. Ramirez. Devin Goodwin is on deck. Runners at first and second base for the Lemurs. And 2 outs here in this bottom of the second inning. The Airhogs with a 7-run lead. And trying to give Jason Jarvis his 4th consecutive victory. Upstairs on the 1-2 to J.P. Ramirez. Now an even count at 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's hit high in the air to right center field. Who's going to call for it? It's going to be Carter, the center fielder, and he will make the grab. That ends the second, but the Lemurs on the board with 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave a couple of men on base, and after 2 innings, the Airhogs are up 9-2 on Laredo on the road here at Unitrade Stadium. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back. It's the third inning now in Laredo, Texas at Unitrade Stadium. The Airhogs leading the Laredo Lemurs 9-2. Michael Suk, the relief pitcher, is in. Finished off that second inning for Mike Shreves, who couldn't grab an out in the second as the Airhogs batted around. And now Madison Carter, the 9-hitter, will come up for the second time tonight. Leading off this third inning, he takes strike one. He grabbed a single on the first pitch from Mike Shreves in the second inning to right field, and later scored in the second. The 0-1 to Carter is a little high for ball one. Carter this year with the Airhogs has played 15 games and batted .245 with 8 runs batted in. Rookie out of the University of Texas, 22 years old, and he lines this one up the middle. It's on the ground and fielded by Travis Denker, who throws across his body to first to make the out on Madison Carter. And it's one down here in the third. Now Jimmy Mojica will be the batter. Mojica 0 for 1 tonight. Drew a walk in the second inning and scored a run. Last night scored a couple of runs, going 2 for 5. Michael Suk with the pitch, and it's a little upstairs for ball one. Mojica spent the last few years in Laredo. Last season batted .312 for the team and led them in runs batted in as well, as he takes called strike one on the outside corner. A ball and a strike to Mojica, the 30-year-old veteran who has played for 7 different teams in the American Association in his career. The 1-1 pitch is taken for called strike two. He said he would retire at the end of last season, so Laredo unhappy with the fact that he came back to play with the Airhogs this year, as that is going to be called strike three on the outside edge. Mojica leaned back trying to sell the call for ball two, but he will sit down on strikes, and it's the first strikeout of the game for Suk. Two up and two down here in this third inning, and the Airhogs will bring Alex Nunez to the plate. A double and a single in this one so far, and he scored a couple of runs. Also drove in a run on that double in the second inning as he takes strike one. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Suk from the letters will deliver the 0-1 pitch, and it's on the ground to the shortstop, Goodwin. He goes to his right, now has to go to first, and it's not going to be caught by the first baseman Alonso as it was in the dirt. Nunez was sliding into first base head first on the play. We'll see what this is ruled. And it is going to be an infield single for Nunez, his second of the game, and he is 3 for 3 tonight so far in this one. Extends the third inning here to bring up Abel Nieves, the third baseman, who has reached both times in this game already, once on an error, and again on an RBI single, which came in the second inning. Scored 2 runs so far. Nunez leading off at first base. Here's the pitch to Nieves, and it's in the air to right field. Dennis Phipps is going to make the grab on the run. Had to fully outstretch his arm there to make the catch. Didn't have to dive, but still a great play from Phipps on a looper into right field by Nieves. And that will end the top of the third inning. No run score for the Airhogs on 1 hit. They leave a man on base. And we'll go to the bottom of the third inning with the score still 9-2 in favor of the Airhogs. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhogs baseball. Bottom of the third inning. Airhogs lead at 9-2. And the Airhogs now with a defensive change. Going to make a move to the bench here. Eric Baker is in the game now. He goes into center field. And Madison Carter is going to move from center field to left, taking out Ride Rodriguez from this game. So unsure why Eric Champion making the move there. Either it's for injury or getting Eric Baker playing time out there for Ride Rodriguez, as Goodwin looks at strike one, the batter to lead off this bottom of the third against Jason Jarvis, who will now deliver the 0-1 pitch in the dirt for ball one. So Baker is the new center fielder, moving Madison Carter, the rookie, over to left, and Baker will bat eighth in the lineup in replacement of Ride Rodriguez. That is swung on and fouled into the screen by Devin Goodwin. A ball and 2 strikes to him. Goodwin doubled in the first inning, but nothing came from that, as no runs scored in the first for Laredo. Airhogs have out-hit the Lemurs 9-5 and outscored them 9-2. An error by the Lemurs, which proved very costly in the first. Could have led to an inning-ending double play in the first inning without any runs scored by the Airhogs. As that is swung on and fouled back into the screen again. Still a ball and 2 strikes to Goodwin, who is in third place in the league with 13 home runs on the year. Also has 22 multi-hit games for Laredo, an all-star selection. Lines this one into the seats, and that's a screamer on the right side. Luckily, no one was in the general area of that line drive from Devin Goodwin, as that one was a hard-hit line drive into the seats that could have been very dangerous if someone was on the receiving end of that. As that is inside, and it's now 2-2 to Devin Goodwin, right-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher Jason Jarvis, who has a 9-2 lead going to the third inning, looking for his 4th consecutive victory this year. 2-2 pitch, again bounced foul, this time into the backstop. Travis Denker will follow Devin Goodwin in the lineup, followed by Dennis Phipps, the 3-4-5 hitters for Laredo. Two balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Jarvis, again foul tipped into the screen by Goodwin. Goodwin in last night's game went 0 for 4. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. Plays college ball at Delta State. He looks at a pitch a little bit inside from Jason Jarvis. Now the count is full at 3-2 with Travis Denker on deck. Jarvis now quickly with the windup. Here's the 3-2. Bounced on the ground to shortstop. Mojica will gather it and throw to first, and beating Goodwin by about a full step at the bag, and that's one down. Travis Denker, the second baseman, now steps up to the plate. Travis Denker flew out to left field in the first inning, 0 for 1 tonight. And in last night's game, he was 2 for 3 with a run scored. Did not drive in a run, however. He leads the league in RBIs with 64, also the home run leader in the American Association with 20. First pitch to Denker on the inside edge of the plate for strike one. Denker, a 28-year-old veteran from Brea, California. Looks at the next pitch and takes it for called strike two. On the outside edge this time from Jason Jarvis, and it's no balls and 2 strikes to the veteran second baseman Travis Denker, with Dennis Phipps on deck for Laredo. Quickly the windup in the 0-2 from Jarvis. Swing and a miss, a strikeout for Jason Jarvis, his second of the night, and it's 2 outs in the third inning. Makes quick work of the home run leader Travis Denker. 2 outs and nobody on base for Dennis Phipps, who struck out looking in the second. Last night, Phipps went 3 for 4, including 2 doubles and 2 runs batted in. So far has played 31 games with Laredo and is batting .377 with the team. He looks at ball 1. 8 home runs and 22 RBIs for the veteran right fielder. And he looks at another pitch a little outside again. 2-0 the count. Did very well against the Airhogs in the previous series between these two in late June. This is bounced on the ground to the left side. Nieves with the play. Spins around, makes the throw to first. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Jarvis here in the third. And it keeps the score at 9-2 Airhogs after 3 innings here at Unitrade Stadium. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. 9-2 Airhogs going to the 4th inning here in Laredo, Texas. Looking at your out-of-town scoreboard in the American Association, some other scores around the league. Winnipeg Gold Eyes are visiting Gary South Shore. Top of the 8th inning, and the Gold Eyes are leading at 5-4. It's the top of the 7th in Sioux Falls. The Sioux Falls Canaries leading the Sioux City Explorers 8-3. That's the top of the 7th there. Wichita Wingnuts on the road against Amarillo, and the Wingnuts lead at 7-1 in the top of the 6th inning. In the bottom of the 5th, the Lincoln Salt Dogs lead the Kansas City T-Bones 2-0. They're hosting that one as Jason Botts gets a single into right field on the ground through the hole between first and second base. And Botts, the now 34-year-old veteran, gets his second hit of the night. He is 2 for 2 and has reached all 3 times so far. RBI single in the second inning, and he leads off the 4th with a single in this one. Also, one more game that has not started between St. Paul and Fargo Moorhead. That one delayed possibly due to rain. But so far, no action yet in Fargo. So that is your American Association out-of-town scoreboard. 9-2 is your score in favor of Grand Prairie here in Laredo, Texas, as Brian Myro takes strike 1. With a runner at first base and nobody out. Michael Suk, the reliever, delivers home, and that is called strike 2 to Myro. Myro grabbed a single to load the bases in the second inning of this game. He is 1 for 2 tonight. Did not reach base at all in last night's game, which is very uncharacteristic of him, going 0 for 4. Usually knows how to get on base and does a very good job of working the count as well, as he looks at ball 1 outside. Myro this season has walked a total of 21 times through just 27 games. And that's low again, 2-2. Myro's on-base percentage this year is .398. Better than his slugging percentage, which is .396. That's in the dirt again, and now a full count. And Myro getting back in the count against Michael Suk after falling behind 0-2. On deck is Brian Peterson, the catcher, a runner at first base and nobody out in the top of the fourth inning for the Airhogs. They're up by 7 runs against Laredo. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. The payoff pitch is on the way. That's just inside, and Myro will draw the walk, putting runners at first and second base. And once again, another example of the savvy veteran play from Brian Myro in his 3rd season with the Airhogs. Draws another walk there to put himself on base and brings up Brian Peterson, who has the biggest hit so far in this game, a grand slam in the first inning, his 2nd home run with the Airhogs this year. That now gives him 6 RBIs in 2014. Michael Suk set at the letters. Here's the first pitch to Peterson, in there for called strike 1. Peterson in his last at-bat grounded out to second base, but drove in a run as the bases were loaded once again in the second for Peterson. Almost beat out the throw as well from Travis Denker at second base. Here's the next pitch from Suk. Lined foul down the right field side. That was a hard-hit line drive, but just slashing foul. And it's no balls and 2 strikes to Brian Peterson. Runners at first and second base, nobody out in the top of the 4th inning. On deck is Frazier Hall for the Airhogs, leading at 9-2 over Laredo in the top of the 4th. Brian Peterson looking to add to the lead for Grand Prairie in this inning against Michael Suk, who's already the second pitcher of this game. The starter, Mike Shreves, was yanked in the 2nd inning after just 1+. Giving up 9 total runs. Only 4 of them were earned. All 5 of the runs that he gave up in the first inning were unearned due to an error that could have led to an inning-ending double play before any runs crossed the board for the Airhogs in the top of the first inning. The 1-2 pitch is just a little low to Brian Peterson, and it's now an even count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brian Peterson last season, in addition to playing for Laredo, also played for Somerset in the Atlantic League, but played the majority of 2013 here with the Laredo Lemurs, 95 games. 2-2 pitch on the way. That is called strike 3 on the outside corner. Brian Peterson shaking his head at the call, but he will sit down on out number 1. That's the second strikeout of the game for Suk. Shreves, the starter, was unable to record a strikeout in the only inning of work that he was able to record. Also, 2 walks for Mike Shreves, the right-handed starter, the rookie out of the University of Montevideo. Called strike 1 to the next batter, Frazier Hall, who followed up Brian Peterson's grand slam with a home run of his own to left field. That's going opposite field for him, the left-handed batter. But the wind blowing from right to left field certainly helped out on that one as he swings and misses on the next pitch, and it's no balls and 2 strikes with Eric Baker on deck. Runners at first and second base for the Airhogs, 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. They have out-hit the Lemurs 10-5 and outscored them 9-2. Michael Suk, the rookie out of Blairstown, New Jersey, sets at the letters. Here's the next pitch to Frazier Hall. That looked to be between the hips and the knees of Frazier Hall, but maybe a little inside for ball 1. Frazier Hall 1 for 2 and now has 6 home runs this season for Grand Prairie. 1-2 pitch on the way. A swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt, and it's going to get away from Carlos Ramirez. He's going to throw to second base. The throw is not in time as Brian Myro slides in safely at second. And Ramirez not able to end the inning on a throw out to second base on the wild pitch by Michael Suk. And Travis Denker, the second baseman, still arguing the call from third base umpire Javier Cantu. It's going to be runners at second and third base and 2 outs now on the wild pitch That was a strikeout to Frazier Hall, and it'll bring up Eric Baker, who just came in defensively into center field and will bat in Ride Rodriguez's spot in the lineup, the 8th spot. Here's the first pitch to him. He takes it for called strike one. Eric Baker last night started in center field, went 0 for 3, drawing a walk in the 9th inning. Was also put out at home plate in the 9th when the Airhogs were trying to extend their lead. Pops up here into foul territory. The first baseman, Alonso, going over, and he will make the grab just over the rain tarp on the first base line. He made the catch and then immediately ran into that tarp and still was able to hold on the pop-up in foul territory to Eric Baker. And that will end the 4th inning for the Airhogs. No run score on 1 hit, 2 men left on base. They still lead at 9-2. Going to the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Bottom of the 4th inning, Airhogs 9, Lemurs 2. Jason Jarvis on the mound looking for his 4th consecutive victory. Leading off this bottom of the 4th for Laredo is John Alonso, the first baseman, followed by Byron Wiley, the left fielder, and then the catcher Carlos Ramirez. 6, 7, 8 hitters in the lineup for Laredo. Alonso, a single and a run scored in the 2nd inning, 1 for 2 tonight. 4th best batting average in the league at .343, and that's impressive considering the fact that he's only played 55 games this year, missed a period of time due to injury earlier on this season, did not play in the previous series between these two in late June. He looks at a pitch upstairs from Jason Jarvis. It's 2-0 the count. Jarvis working quickly with nobody on base. Here's the windup on the 2-0 pitch. And that is just a little inside to Alonso, now 3-0. Alonso this season also with 12 home runs and 38 runs driven in. 3-0 pitch is in there for strike one from Jarvis, who sat down the Lemurs 1-2-3 in the 3rd. Here's the 3-1 to Alonso, again in there for strike two. And now a full count to the veteran first baseman Alonso. Lives in Orlando, Florida, and is in his 2nd year with Laredo. He will draw a walk on a pitch low from Jarvis. Jarvis with his first walk allowed in the game. He also hit a batter in the 2nd inning. Next batter is going to be Byron Wiley, the left fielder. Grabbed a double in the 2nd inning, which drove in a run, John Alonso. First run of the game for Laredo. Now Jarvis set from the belt. Here's the first pitch. And it's just low to Wiley for ball one. Wiley faced the Airhogs in a couple of games in early July when he was still with the Kansas City T-Bones. Last night, Wiley went 0 for 4, striking out 3 times. And he is going to get hit by the batter this time, it appears. Or no, he is not. He is just going to dodge that pitch inside. It may have appeared to hit him at first, but it's 2-0 the count, and Brian Peterson out to the mound to talk with Jason Jarvis now, who has lost control here of the strike zone here in this fourth inning, walking the first batter, Alonso, now falling behind 2-0 to Byron Wiley. Carlos Ramirez on deck for Laredo. Byron Wiley only batting .189 coming into this contest for Laredo in 11 games. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Here is the 2-0. Check swing, but called strike one. Wiley is from Tomball, Texas. He's 27 years old. Here's the 2-1 pitch to him, and he pops it foul over the screen and out of play. Even count at 2-2 to Wiley, who was the DH last night, now playing in left field for tonight's game. Runner at first base and nobody out in the bottom of the fourth for Laredo. Airhogs with the 7-run lead, 5 runs in the first, off of back-to-back home runs by Peterson and Hall, and then 4 runs in the second. 2-2 pitch is inside to Wiley, and it's now a full count again. Jason Jarvis is 4-1 in 7 starts with the Airhogs this year with an ERA of 3.13. The payoff pitch to Wiley is popped up in the air on the left side. Nieves will try to make a play at it, but it bounces just inside the Airhogs dugout on the third base line, and it's still a full count. Nieves was just about a couple feet away from possibly making a stab at that one down the third base line on the pop-up by Wiley, but it's still going to be 3-2 to the left fielder. A runner at first and nobody out, the bottom of the fourth inning we're in at Unitrade Stadium in Laredo, Texas. The payoff pitch is again upstairs, and back-to-back walks allowed by Jarvis in this inning. His first 2 walks allowed in the game. Jarvis is now over 70 pitches. After that last one that he delivered a little high to Byron Wiley. Now it's runners at first and second base, nobody out. The next batter, Carlos Ramirez. An RBI double in the second inning is his only plate appearance so far. 1 for 1 tonight, and last night he was 0 for 4 against the Airhogs. Upstairs on the first pitch from Jarvis again, ball 1. Airhogs so far are 3-4 against Laredo this year. 7 games behind them now in the South Division race. Laredo in second place, Airhogs in third. And now 15 games behind the Wichita Wingnuts for the division lead. It's again high from Jason Jarvis, and it's now 2-0 the count. Right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Jarvis with the 2-0 pitch. Called strike one, just hitting the outer edge. 2-1 with Harrison Kane on deck for the Lemurs. Ramirez this season with Laredo is batting .201 in 43 games. He swings and fouls this one into the screen, and even count now at 2-2. Ramirez, 2 home runs, 17 runs batted in. Has a chance to shrink the lead a little bit more for Laredo. Airhogs jumped out to a 9-0 advantage. Laredo so far has only answered with 2 runs that came in the second inning, now trying to do so again here in the fourth. As Jason Jarvis steps off the pitching rubber. It's 2-2 to Carlos Ramirez. Runners at first and second base and nobody out for the Lemurs in the bottom of the fourth inning. Now here's the 2-2 pitch from Jarvis. Way upstairs, and again, a full count, the third straight full count in this fourth inning. Runners might be going on this pitch. to Carlos Ramirez. The payoff is on the way. Hit down the first base line, and it's going to be fair. It's just past the dive of Jason Botts. A run is not going to score as Botts was the cutoff man there, and he let it go between his legs, but no damage done, as that was just between him and Alex Nunez on the right side. And now Jeff Russell, the pitching coach, will emerge from the dugout to talk with Jason Jarvis. It's a single for Carlos Ramirez, loading the bases with nobody out here in this fourth inning. And the Air Hogs know more than anybody else that no lead is safe against this Laredo Lemurs team, the best offensive team when it comes to hits. They're hitting .305 as a team, which is best in the league. And they're second only to Wichita in runs scored with 363 runs this year. Laredo twice this season has defeated Grand Prairie by double-digit margins. Both of those came at Quick Trip Park. One was by a score of 14-2, and the other by a score of 14-1. So the Airhogs don't want to get lazy with a 7-run lead here in the fourth inning at Unitrade Stadium, a place where Lemurs know how to hit home runs, especially to left field. Bases loaded and nobody out for Harrison Kane, the batter. He's 0 for 1 tonight, a fly out to left field in the second inning. Jarvis delivers home. The first pitch is just a little low for ball one. Harrison Kane in last night's contest went 1 for 4 with the double. And he hits this one high into left field. Madison Carter is underneath it, will make the grab. Tagging, but now not going home, is Alonso. And that's a big play from Carter, saving the run. Alonso, not really known for his speed, tagged at third, but then changed his mind and went back to the back. So a big out there for Jason Jarvis on the fly out to left field. One down with the bases loaded. The top of the order is back for Laredo. Nick Van Straten, the center fielder, will come to bat. 0 for 1 so far tonight. Was hit by a pitch his last time up in the second inning. Van Straten, .335 hitter, 9th best batting average in the league. And will be the starting center fielder in the All-Star game on July 29th. That's this Tuesday in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He takes strike one from Jarvis on the first pitch. Now here's the windup in the 0-1. That is bounced on the ground. Mojica will stop it. Flip to Nunez at first. And then safe at first base is Van Straten. Airhogs not able to turn the double play. They do get the out at second base, but Van Straten safe at first, and Alonso scores from third base to make it 9-3 Airhogs in the fourth inning. So an RBI fielder's choice for Van Straten. And the ground ball to the shortstop Mojica was just a little too slow on the grass to try and turn a double play against a speedy center fielder, Nick Van Straten. So it'll be runners at the corners with 2 outs, and J.P. Ramirez is the batter. Jarvis delivers home, a swing and a miss by J.P. Ramirez there on a fastball high in the zone. Ramirez so far tonight is 1 for 2. He singled in the first inning, but was put out at second base trying to stretch that into a double. It was down the first base line and bounced off of the foul wall. Frazier Hall able to throw him out at second base pretty easily in the end, as Ramirez looks at strike 2 called on the inside edge of the zone, and he's behind 0-2 in the count with 2 outs in the fourth inning and runners at the corners. The lead has now been cut to 6 runs for the Airhogs here in the bottom of the fourth, as that's inside to Ramirez, a ball and 2 strikes. The Airhogs are still out hitting Laredo 10-6. Laredo with only 1 base hit so far in this inning. A couple of walks allowed by Jason Jarvis. Here's the 1-2 to Ramirez, swung on and fouled into the screen. Ramirez staying alive at a ball and 2 strikes, with Devin Goodwin on deck for Laredo. Airhogs won last night 6-3, coming back to win it against a very skilled starting pitcher, Casey Harmon, who had been lights out before facing the Airhogs on Friday night. Grabbed his first loss of the season, did Harmon, as Jarvis delivers a pitch upstairs, making the count 2-2 It's runners at the corners, and there's 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. 1 run already for the Lemurs in this inning to cut the Airhogs' lead to 9-3. Jarvis set from the stretch, brings it to the belt. Here's the pitch. A check swing on a pitch a little high, and a full count again to J.P. Ramirez this time. Ramirez, a left-handed batter against Jarvis, the right-handed pitcher. And calling time is Brian Peterson, calling out signals to his infield. Jason Botts won't hold on Nick Van Stratton now at first base, and will move into normal depth at the first base position. 3-2 to J.P. Ramirez. Here's the payoff pitch. That is a half swing, and it's going foul, just bouncing below our press box on the third base line here at Unitrade Stadium. Ramirez checked his swing, but it was lined out of play, and he stays alive at 3-2. Jarvis trying to get out of this jam in the 4th. The payoff pitch again on the way. Runners going. And it is low for ball 4. Third walk allowed by Jarvis in the inning. And again, the bases are loaded, now this time with 2 outs. And Brian Peterson will call time. Jason Jarvis driving up his pitch count once again here. Now it's up to 88 pitches. .51 strikes on those 88 pitches for the 26-year-old right-hander. Jason Jarvis played his college ball at Arizona State. And will now face Devin Goodwin with the bases loaded in 2 outs. First pitch hit on the ground to shortstop. Mojica to second base, just to the right of Alex Nunez, but he stretches to make the stop and keeps his foot on the bag to make the out at second base on J.P. Ramirez. That will end the 4th. 1 run scores for the Lemurs on 1 hit, and they leave 3 men on base. It is 9-3 Airhogs after 4 innings here in Laredo in the second of this 3-game set. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. It's now the 5th inning here at Unitrade Stadium in Laredo, Texas. Airhogs with a 9-3 lead, and we'll lead it off with Madison Carter, the 9-hitter, who is 1 for 2 tonight, with a single and a run scored in the 2nd inning, facing off against Michael Suk, who has now gone through 3 innings in relief for the Lemurs, taking out the starter Mike Shreves, who only lasted an inning plus. And that's taken for strike 1 by Madison Carter. Suk quickly working from the stretch. Here's the next pitch. That's hit in the air foul down the right side, and it's no balls and two strikes. Quickly to Madison Carter, the 22-year-old rookie out of the University of Texas, a native of Sherman, Texas. Batting .245 coming into this game for the Airhawks in his first professional year of baseball. That is lined up the middle, and it's going to bounce off of the pitcher's mound and roll into center field. Another base hit for Carter. He is 2 for 3 tonight. Now the next batter is Jimmy Mojica, the top of the order, back for the Airhogs. Mojica up for the 4th time tonight. We're in the 5th inning. Mojica 0 for 2 so far. He drew a walk in the second and later scored a run in the second inning. Fans showing their displeasure with Mojica, a few boos in the crowd. As Mojica said he would retire as a Laredo Lemur last year, but then decided to come back and play for the Airhogs in 2014. That is hit in the air foul and now to play into the seats on the right field side. And it's frustrating for a team when a player does that. You can either trade him away and get something for him or keep him for the next season if he doesn't decide to retire. Mojica saying that he was done. As he swings and misses at the next pitch, or actually foul tips it into the screen, and it's no balls and two strikes. So not only the fans are frustrated with him, but the ownership here at Laredo are also wondering why he came back to play for the Airhogs this year. A breaking pitch is in there for called strike 3, and Mojica swings his bat in frustration. 1 out in the top of the 5th inning. And Alex Nunez will be the batter. Nunez 3 for 3, 2 singles and a double. That double in the second inning drove in a run, and he has scored 2 runs of his own so far tonight. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, a runner at first and 1 out in the top of the 5th. The Airhogs lead by 6 runs. Suk delivers home. The first pitch is taken for strike 1 by Alex Nunez, the 33-year-old veteran. Nunez in his first 33 games with the Airhogs, batting .356, an on-base of .401 and a slugging of .430. Leads the team in both of those categories. That is swing and miss, runner going, and the throw is in time to second base. Madison Carter caught stealing 2-6 on the play. Madison Carter this year only has 1 stolen base, or excuse me, 2 stolen bases. That's the first time that he's been caught. And now it empties the bases and makes it 2 outs in the 5th. Nunez swings and misses, or actually foul tips that one and bounces it foul. And now the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nunez. On deck is Abel Nieves. 1-2 pitch on the way from Mike Shreves. Or excuse me, Michael Suk. Mike Shreves was the starter, only lasting 1+ innings. After giving up 9 runs on 7 hits, 2 walks and no strikeouts to the Airhogs. Here's the 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss on a fastball. And Nunez strikes out to end the 5th inning. No runs, a hit, nobody left on base by the Airhogs in the top of the 5th. And we'll move to the bottom half of the inning with the score 9-3 in favor of Grand Prairie. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. 9-3 is your score. The Airhogs lead it, move to the bottom of the fifth inning, and leading off this fifth is Travis Denker for the Lemurs. Facing off against Jason Jarvis, who had to get out of a jam in the fourth inning, but still out there. Pitch count is now closing in on 90 pitches for Jason Jarvis through just 4 innings of work. He lasted 6 innings in his last start against Quebec on Sunday, getting the win with only 3 runs given up on 10 hits, 2 walks and a strikeout, or 2 strikeouts and a walk, I should say, for Jarvis. Now looking for his 4th consecutive victory. Travis Denker, the second baseman, leads it off. He's 0 for 2 tonight, and he takes strike 1 right down the middle from Jarvis. A fly out to the left and a strikeout swinging for Denker. And in last night's game, Denker was 2 for 3. He looks at a pitch a little low this time from Jason Jarvis, and it's a ball and a strike. After Denker will be Dennis Phipps, the right fielder, and then John Alonso, the first baseman. The 4-5-6 part of the lineup. And home plate umpire Marty Bauer says that Travis Denker went around on that last swing. And it's a ball and 2 strikes to Denker. League leader in home runs and RBIs this season. Will represent Laredo in the All-Star game as well at second base. Starting for the South All-Star team. The 1-2 pitch from Jason Jarvis is just outside, and it's an even count now at 2-2. The Airhogs trying to even up the season series between these two at 4-4 and try to take this 3-game set after winning the opener last night. This is hit high in the air to shallow left field. Madison Carter is there. He calls off Jimmy Mojica, the shortstop, and he makes the grab for the first out. Carter lost his cap on the play, running right into the wind. But he does make the grab out there. It almost looked like Mojica and Carter were going to collide, and it's always dangerous when that happens out there. As Carter puts away Denker for out number 1. Next batter is Dennis Phipps, who was also 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout looking in the second and a ground out to third base in the third inning. First pitch taken outside for ball 1. Dennis Phipps, right-handed batter against Jarvis, the right-handed pitcher. It's now 95 pitches for Jarvis in this one, and now 96 after that one. That is strike 1, moving it to a ball and a strike the count. Now the 1-1 pitch quickly from Jarvis, and that's strike 2 called. On deck is John Alonso. Nine runs on 11 hits for the Airhogs, 3 runs on 6 hits for the Lemurs. Lemurs with 1 error as well. That's going to plunk Dennis Phipps, and that is going to set off Dennis Phipps as he was initially walking out to Jason Jarvis on the mound, and it looks like the benches are going to clear here as both bullpens are now going over to what appears to be a little bit of a scuffle between Jarvis and Phipps. Jarvis plunked Phipps with a fastball off of his left arm. Both bullpens came out from their respective positions, as well as the benches clearing here. Nothing's really going to come from this. And the umpires are going to sort this out. Jarvis plunking Phipps with that last 1-2 pitch there. And Phipps didn't like it. It appeared that Jarvis was unintentional with that. I'm not exactly sure what would have led him to hit Dennis Phipps in the middle of the count. The next batter is going to be John Alonso, and first we're going to allow the bullpens to clear the field here as they're walking back. John Alonso is the batter. with Dennis Phipps on base after the second hit batsman by Jason Jarvis in the game. Alonso tonight has reached both times, once on a base hit, a single, and a walk. He has scored both times tonight as well. Jarvis moves to first base, and Phipps getting back in, and fans not liking the fact that Jarvis is worrying about the base runner here. Here's the first pitch to Alonso, low in the dirt for ball one, blocked by Peterson behind the dish, a nice scoop by him. Now Jarvis will deliver pitch number 100 here to John Alonso on the 1-0 count. He's set from the belt, and here's the pitch. And it's low and away again. Now 2-0 to John Alonso with Byron Wiley on deck. John Alonso was the American Association Player of the Month for June, hitting .426, 26 for 61 in his at-bats, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs, 6 doubles, and 13 runs scored. He's now 4th in the AA in batting average right now, with an average of .343. And he will look at strike one on the 3-0 pitch from Jarvis. Alonso was on his way to first base thinking he had a walk, but will step back into the batter's box now. 3 balls and a strike to John Alonso. Jason Jarvis with the pitch. And now it's ball 4, a little pitch high there. That is walk number 3 allowed by Jarvis in the game. It'll put runners at first and second base with only 1 out in this bottom of the 5th inning. The Airhogs lead by 6 runs. And Eric Champion appeared to be emerging from the dugout at first. Hasn't done so yet. He's right there on the edge of the steps. Next batter is Byron Wiley. Wiley tonight is 1 for 1 with a double, driving in a run in the 2nd inning. And he drew a walk last time up in the 4th. Looks at strike 1 with runners at first and second base and 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, Jarvis at the belt. Here's the next pitch. That is hit high in the air to left. Carter going back. He's going to look over his head. It's a home run. Byron Wiley goes deep for his 4th home run of the season with Laredo. And that now gives him 4 RBIs on the season. And that one left the park in a hurry. Byron Wiley makes the score 9-6 Airhogs in the bottom of the 5th inning. And as I said earlier, no run is safe against this high-powered Laredo offense. So now Jeff Russell out from the dugout again to talk with Jason Jarvis, who's over 100 pitches and now has given up 6 runs in this game on 7 hits. Still looking for his 4th straight victory of the season and his 5th win with the Airhogs. He is 4-1 with an ERA of 3.13. Carlos Ramirez is the next batter with 1 out and now nobody on base. Ramirez tonight is 2 for 2 with an RBI double in the 2nd and an RBI single, or not an RBI single, but it was a single in the 4th inning. A good performance so far tonight after going 0 for 4 last night. This is grounded to the shortstop Mojica, a one-hop throw to Jason Botts, but he digs it out of the dirt for out number 2. On the first pitch to Carlos Ramirez, it's a ground out to shortstop. And now 2 down in the 5th. Harrison Kane will come up with 2 outs and nobody on. Kane 0 for 2 tonight with a couple of flyouts to left field. So now we've seen 3 home runs in this game, 2 by the Air Hogs, 1 now by the Lemurs. First pitch to Kane is taken for strike 1. Harrison Kane last night had a double, going 1 for 4. The bottom part of the order for Laredo only had 1 hit. The last 4 batters, Alonso, Wiley, Ramirez, and Kane, combined to go 1 for 15 last night. Now doing a little bit better tonight. So far, Alonso is 2 for 2. Wiley's 2 for 2 now. And Ramirez is 2 for 3. This is hit on the ground to the second baseman, Nunez. And Kane will not beat out this throw, as Nunez will record out number 3 from second base. 3 more runs score on 1 big hit by Byron Wiley here in the 5th inning. Nobody left on base, and the score is now 9-6 in favor of the Air Hogs after 5 innings here at Unit Trade Stadium. You're listening to Grand Prairie Air Hogs Baseball. Back for the 6th inning here at Unit Trade Stadium in Laredo, Texas. Air Hogs' lead has now shrunk to 3 runs. It's 9-6. The Lemurs answering the big attack by the Air Hogs in the early going of this one. Scored 9 runs to go up 9-0. Then the Lemurs came back with 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, and 3 in the last inning, the 5th. Now Abel Nieves will lead off this 6th inning for the Air Hogs against Michael Suk, the reliever, who is still in there after 4 innings of work. And that's taken for strike 1 by Nieves, who is so far 1 for 3 tonight. He reached on an error, and he also drove in a run on a single. Has scored a total of 2 runs tonight. Next pitch on the 0-1 is a little upstairs to Nieves for ball 1. He'll be followed by Jason Botts and Brian Myro in the lineup for the Air Hogs. Heart of the lineup, it's 3-4-5. And that is taken for strike 2 on the next pitch from Suk. Michael Suk, so far this season, a record of 1-1 and an ERA of 2.87 in 23 relief appearances this year. Lined over down the first base line, and that is going to bounce fair. Over the head of Alonso, but it's only a single for Nieves, as Dennis Phipps did a good job of going all the way to the right field line and fielding that one, so Nieves will stay at first with a leadoff single. Base hit number 12 of the game for the Air Hogs. They have out-hit the Lemurs 12-7 in this one and outscored them 9-6. Jason Botts will be the batter. Left-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher. Botts so far tonight 2 for 2 on his birthday. He's 34 years old. And he takes ball 1. RBI single in the 2nd inning and led off the 4th with a single. The 1-0 pitch is just a little outside on the breaking ball from Suk. 2-0 now to Jason Botts. A big guy, 6'6", 255 pounds, 34-year-old veteran. who last played in the Mexican League, has also played in the majors as well as the Japanese big leagues. The 2-0 pitch, low in the dirt. Ramirez stabbing that one out from the ground, and it's 3-0 now to Jason Botts playing at first base. Brian Myro on deck. Runner at first and nobody out for the Airhogs, trying to give themselves a little bit more of a cushion here against the Lemurs, who have been known to put up a lot of runs. And that's going to be a 4-pitch walk to Jason Botts, the second one he has drawn in this game. And it'll put runners at first and second base. Nobody out in this top of the 6th inning. Brian Myro is the batter, 1 for 2 with a single in the second and a walk drawn in the 4th inning. DH tonight is Brian Myro, 37-year-old veteran, also a former big leaguer in his 3rd season with Grand Prairie. Runners at first and second base and nobody out. Suk from the stretch will deliver home to Brian Myro. Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. Brian Myro so far has played 27 games since coming back from the DL last month. Hitting .253 for the Airhogs, 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. And the 0-1 pitch is low and inside. Now a ball and a strike to Brian Myro. On deck is Brian Peterson, the grand slam hitter in this one. Nobody out with runners at first and second base for the Airhawks. Top of the 6th, they lead by 3 runs against Laredo, trying to take the series tonight. Popped in the air, and it's foul behind the screen. Now a ball and 2 strikes to Brian Myro, who might have a future in coaching. Served as the hitting coach in the early part of this season when he was rehabbing from his injury. Also served as interim manager for the Airhogs, going 5-2 on one of their road trips. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt, and an even count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brian Myro. Played for the Dodgers and the Padres between 2005 and 2008. 2-2 pitch on the way from Suk. That's going to be called strike 3 on the inside edge of the plate there, and a big strikeout for Suk. It's out number 1 with runners at first and second base. But now emerging from the dugout is Lemurs manager Pete Incaviglia, and former Grand Prairie Airhogs manager at that as well. The first 3 years that the Airhogs were in existence, Incaviglia was the skipper between 2008 and 2010. Led them to the championship series in 2008, their first year in existence, leading them to a record of 56-40 in 2008. Went 48-48 in 2009, and in 2010, 43-52. Now in his 3rd season as the Laredo manager. Last season led them to a 52-47 record. He's going to leave Suk out there to face Brian Peterson. Peterson 1 for 3, but his one hit is an important one now, as it separates the 2 teams at this point. It was a grand slam in the 1st inning, giving the Airhogs the 4-0 lead early on. That lead is now 9 runs to 6 against Laredo. Taken for strike 1 by Peterson on the first pitch. Brian Peterson, the catcher, now in his 8th game with the Airhogs and his 6th start. That is lined foul down the 3rd base line. And it's no balls and 2 strikes to Peterson. Frazier Hall on deck with 1 out and runners at first and second base. Peterson hitting .318 coming into this game for the Airhogs in his first 7 games. The pitch from Suk. A check swing, a little outside the plate this time, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, that grand slam was a line drive that appeared to slash near the left field foul pole. And line drives in this ballpark to left field can quickly turn into home runs. Peterson takes a pitch just below his knees, and it's now 2-2 the count. Peterson has bounced around a lot of affiliated clubs in his long career. Almost played for 12 different minor league farm systems in the major leagues. That is bounced on the ground to the second baseman Denker. Flips to the shortstop, now goes to first. That's a double play. And it ends the 6th inning for the Laredo Lemurs. Michael Suk pumps his fist and gets out of that jam without any runs allowed. So the Airhogs, with no runs on 1 hit and a man left on base, moving to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 9-6 Airhogs. And Jason Jarvis will go back out to the mound. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Bottom of the 6th inning here at Unitrade Stadium in Laredo, Texas. Second of this 3-game set, the Airhogs lead by 3 runs. And we'll run Jason Jarvis back out on the mound for this 6th inning. Jarvis over 100 pitches so far in this 8th start with the Airhogs this year, looking for his 4th consecutive victory. He'll face the top of the order in this bottom of the 6th. Nick Van Straten leading it off, then J.P. Ramirez and Devin Goodwin. Van Straten tonight 0 for 2. Has been hit by a pitch tonight. Also reached on a fielder's choice, and he looks at strike 1. Van Straten in last night's game went 1 for 5. Originally it was 0 for 5, but the error was charged to a base hit, and so no error for Alex Nunez at second base. 1-1 pitch on the way to Van Straten, a swing and a foul back into the foul screen. Now it's a ball and 2 strikes to Nick Van Straten, the veteran, a native of St. Louis, Missouri. Had a 33-game hitting streak that was snapped on July 18th. He grounds to the second baseman Nunez, and that will be an easy out in the infield for the Airhogs to lead off this bottom of the 6th, 1 down for the Lemurs. The designated hitter, J.P. Ramirez, is 1 for 2 tonight with a single in the 1st inning. Drew a walk his last time up in the 4th. Ramirez with a home run to right field last night. The only home run that was hit to right field so far all season here at Unitrade Stadium. The 1-0 pitch is upstairs from Jarvis, who's working quickly here with nobody on base, as he usually does. has built a reputation as a very quick worker in this league. He delivers strike one on a breaking pitch there on the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike to Ramirez, the left-handed batter. Jarvis now up to 118 pitches. Here's number 119. A fastball upstairs this time. It's 3-1 the count. Devin Goodwin on deck for Laredo. 1 out, nobody on base. Airhogs a 3-run lead over Laredo. This next pitch is hit foul and out of play down the left side of the field. Now full count to Ramirez. The longest that Jason Jarvis has gone this season is 8 innings. It's certainly not looking like he's going to get there now, trying to get through just 6 in this outing, as this is lined into left center field, and it will bounce for a base hit. Madison Carter stopped it but didn't field it cleanly, and it'll be a double for J.P. Ramirez. He is 2 for 3 in tonight's game. A little bit of action in the bullpen for the Airhogs, it appears. Jeff Russell making his 4th trip to the pitcher's mound, and it's likely that he is going to make a move to the bullpen here. And he will do so. Jason Jarvis will finish his night with 5 1/3 innings pitched. After that double from J.P. Ramirez. So it's a runner at second base and 1 out in the bottom of the 6th, and the Airhogs will now go to the bullpen for the rest of this game, leading by 3 runs. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Bottom of the 6th inning, a runner at second for the Lemurs, and 1 out. And the Airhogs making a move to the bullpen. They will go with right-hander T.J. Bozeman, who was originally in the starting rotation, but now moved back to the bullpen. And he did make a start against Laredo this season. It was not a good one. Gave up 3 innings, or only worked 3 innings, and gave up 7 runs in the first, en route to his first loss as a starting pitcher for the Airhogs this year. And this season with Grand Prairie, he has a record of 0-1, an ERA of 9, give up 12 earned runs through 12 innings pitched. This is his 6th relief appearance with the Airhogs this year. He has made 2 starts as well. Comes in with a runner at second base, and 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Devin Goodwin, the batter. He looks at called strike 1 from T.J. Bozeman, a 24-year-old who started out this year with Lincoln, acquired by the Airhogs midseason. Last few years, he played with the Fort Worth Cats. Set from the stretch, here's the 0-1 to Goodwin. That is lined through the hole between first and second. Staying at third base on the play is Ramirez. It's going to roll all the way back to home plate on the throw from Frazier Hall. That's a single for Goodwin. He is 2 for 4 tonight. And now Travis Denker is the batter. He is 0 for 3 tonight. But comes up as the tying run, or the potential tying run, in this sixth inning. The Airhogs lead 9-6. TJ Bozeman coming in relief of the starter Jason Jarvis. 5 1/3 innings pitched for Jarvis. 6 runs given up on 8 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. In line for the win. He is responsible for the runner now at third base. So we'll see if he ends up with either 6 runs or 7 runs given up. Bozeman set from the stretch and delivers the first pitch to Travis Denker. It's low for ball 1. The Airhogs have out-hit the Lemurs 12-9 in this game and outscored them 9-6, but so far the Airhogs haven't scored since the second inning. Bozeman with the 1-0, and it's high for ball 2 to Travis Denker. 20 home runs, leads the league now. 28-year-old veteran from Brea, California. Also leads the team in runs batted in. Runner going at first base, and sliding in safely is Goodwin. Alex Nunez caught the ball and then started running to third base, where the base runner J.P. Ramirez had a strong secondary lead. But that'll be a stolen base for Goodwin, and it takes away the potential double play for the Airhogs. Now runners at second and third with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Now a 3-0 count to Travis Denker with Dennis Phipps on deck. Bozeman delivers on the 3-0 pitch. Low for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Denker loads the bases with 1 out. Now the tying run is on base for Laredo. Well, the Airhogs were able to put away the Lemurs last night, coming from behind, overcoming a 3-run deficit. And answering those 3 runs by the Lemurs with 6 unanswered runs of their own. And held the Lemurs scoreless for the rest of the game, winning the game 6-3 in the opener of this series. First pitch to Phipps from Bozeman, taken for strike 1 on the outside corner. Phipps tonight 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch by Jason Jarvis and was not happy about it. That ended to the benches and the bullpens clearing. There was no real scuffle that occurred, and nobody was thrown out of the game. Phipps just a little upset as he checks his swing, but bounces it foul straight into the ground. And it's no balls and 2 strikes to Phipps, who last night had a couple of doubles, driving in 2 runs for the Lemurs. Comes up with the bases loaded here in this situation. Phipps this year with the bases loaded is 0 for 1 with an RBI. Swing and a miss there. Or actually a foul tip that's on the 0-2 count. And it's now no balls and 2 strikes to Dennis Phipps. John Alonso is on deck. 1 out, bases loaded. The Airhogs lead at 9-6, but trying to get out of this jam with their reliever TJ Bozeman. Set at the letters. Here comes the pitch. That is lined up the middle. Nunez with the touch on second base, and he throws to first, and that's a 4-3 double play to end the 6th inning with the bases loaded. And a big escape there for the Airhogs pitching staff as they retain their 3-run lead with no runs given up on 2 hits and 2 men left on base by the Lemurs. After 6 innings here in Laredo, it is 9-6 Airhogs. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhogs baseball. 9-6 is your score. The Airhogs on top as we move to the 7th inning. And a new pitcher in there for Laredo. It is former Grand Prairie Airhog Josh Strawn, who has just been moved to the bullpen for the Lemurs this year. And Josh Strawn, last season played for the Airhogs, finds himself on the other side of the state here in Laredo. This season, Strawn has appeared 2 times in relief, has made 13 starts for Laredo, a record of 5-7, an ERA of 4.41. The first batter he faces is Frazier Hall in this 7th, and he delivers ball 1. Hall a home run in the first inning, solo shot to left. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Josh Strawn set, and here comes the pitch. Hit high and deep into right field, but it's going to hang up in the air for Dennis Phipps, and he makes the catch for out number 1. So Strawn coming in relief of Michael Suk, who went 5 innings in relief. No runs given up on 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks for Michael Suk out of the pen. And really doing a good job in relief of Mike Shreves, who imploded in an inning plus in the early part of this game, giving the Airhogs a 9-run advantage. It's now shrunk to 3 runs since then. As looking at a pitch low and away is Eric Baker, the next batter. He is 0 for 1. He came in for Ride Rodriguez in the 3rd inning, coming in to play center field and moving Madison Carter to left. That's once again low and outside, and now 2-0 the count to Eric Baker, who got the start last night. He went 0 for 3 with a walk. That is low once again, and now 3-0 the count with Josh Strawn, the 3rd pitcher used by Pete Incaviglia in the game. Strawn last year for Grand Prairie had an ERA of 4.09 in 21 starts, as he delivers strike 1 there on the 3-0 pitch. A record of 9-7 last year for Grand Prairie, and was really one of the more reliable starters for the Airhogs. He's set at the belt here, and that's upstairs, and ball 4 to Eric Baker. He'll draw a walk with 1 out in this 7th. Well, Josh Strawn's younger brother, Jeremy Strong, is also on this pitching staff for Laredo, and he's slated to be the starter tomorrow night in the finale of this series. Josh Strawn from Bradenton, Florida. He turns 26 years old on July 30th. That's Wednesday of next week. Strike 1 called to Madison Carter, who is 2 for 3 tonight with a couple of singles. Scored a run in the 2nd inning. Strawn delivers home on the 0-1, and it's low and outside this time. A ball and a strike to Carter. Undrafted out of the University of Texas, picked up by the Airhogs just a couple weeks ago. And so far with Grand Prairie in his first professional year has played 15 games and comes into this game with a .245 batting average and 8 runs batted in. That's low in the dirt again. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jimmy Mojica on deck. A runner at first and 1 out. The Airhogs looking for insurance runs. They haven't scored since the 2nd inning. That is popped foul down the right side and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Madison Carter, the 22-year-old rookie. The Airhogs won the opener last night 6-3, moving to 3-4 against Laredo this year, trying to even the series for the season now tonight. That is bounced through the hole between first and second base, rolling into right field for the 3rd base hit of the night from Madison Carter. 3 for 4 is he. And the Airhogs have had no shortage of base runners in this game since the 2nd inning, but so far haven't been able to bring them home. Have out-hit the Lemurs 13-9 in this game, outscored them 9-6. 1 costly error by the Lemurs in the 1st inning, which could have ended the first without any runs given up in the first. That was a ball that went through the legs of Devin Goodwin, allowing Abel Nieves first base and moving Nunez to second. Then the next batter, Jason Botts, drew a walk. Brian Myro popped out for the first out of the inning, or the second out, I should say. And then Brian Peterson, the next batter, opened up our scoring with a grand slam to left field. First pitch to Jimmy Mojica is swung on and missed for strike one. Mojica tonight 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. He walked in the second inning and scored a run. And now trying to drive in some runners here. Last night went 2 for 5, a double and a single. He looks at called strike 2 on the upper third of the zone. And he's talking to Marty Bauer right now about that strike zone that Bauer currently has. It's no balls and 2 strikes with Alex Nunez on deck. Runners at first and second base, 1 out in the top of the 7th. Strawn on the mound. Here's the pitch. That is bounced foul down the third base line, still 0-2 against the 30-year-old veteran shortstop Jimmy Mojica. He's played for 7 different teams in the American Association in his career. 2 of the teams aren't even in the league anymore, Pensacola and St. Joe. He's also played for St. Paul, Kansas City, Laredo, and now Grand Prairie. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Strawn. Hit in the air on a line drive to center. Going to bounce in front of Nick Van Straten, who's now going to throw to third base. Eric Baker slides in safely. Baker was caught between second and third. Thought that that may have been caught by Nick Van Straten in center field on the line drive by Mojica. So he was holding up at between second and third base to see if he had to go back to the second base bag or start running to third. But he has a lot of speed, so he's able to slide in safely to third base. So load the bases here with 1 out. Once again, the Air Hogs with the bases loaded. Now the batter is Alex Nunez. Nunez tonight is 3 for 4 with 2 singles and a double. Taken for called strike 1 on the inside edge on the first pitch. Last time Nunez was up, he struck out swinging. Bases loaded and 1 out. Strawn delivers home from the stretch. Hit high in the air to center. Is it deep enough? Van Straten underneath it. Baker tags and goes home. The throw to the plate is in time. And did he get the tag? Yes, he did. And so that's going to be a double play. Nick Van Straten from center field nabbing the runner Eric Baker, who was tagged out at home last night as well. So the Air Hogs not able to bring a run home on the sacrifice fly. A big play from the all-star Nick Van Straten in center field, putting out Eric Baker at home, and that will end the top of the 7th. No run score on 2 hits. The Air Hogs leave 2 on base, and it is still 9-6 at 7th inning stretch time here in Laredo. We'll move to the bottom of the 7th after the break. Listening to Grand Prairie Air Hogs baseball. back for the bottom of the 7th inning. The Airhogs still lead by 3 runs, 9-6. The Lemurs will lead it off with John Alonso, the first baseman. TJ Bozeman back on the mound in relief. Got out of the jam in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bases loaded jam that was. And then he got Dennis Phipps to ground into a 4-3 double play. Now comes in for another inning here to face John Alonso, the first baseman, who so far is 1 for 1 with a single and 2 walks. Every time he has reached base, he has also scored. He takes strike 1 from Bozeman on the first pitch. Bozeman from the stretch will deliver the 0-1. A breaking pitch this time, and it's hitting the outside edge of the zone for called strike 2. Last time that Bozeman faced Laredo was on June 29th, and he was the starter. Gave up 7 runs in the first to the Lemurs. That is lined through the hole between third and short, and it rolls into left field for a leadoff single by Alonso. And the Lemurs with 10 base hits now in this game. Next batter is Byron Wiley, who made this game a little bit more interesting in the 5th inning with a 3-run home run to left. Cutting the lead in half for the Airhogs. That's where we stand now at 9-6. The Airhogs have out-hit the Lemurs 14-10 in this game. Wiley is 2 for 2, a home run as well as an RBI double. First pitch, low at the feet of Byron Wiley, and it's ball 1. Carlos Ramirez is on deck for the Laredo Lemurs. Wiley joined Laredo on July 15th, and in his debut, he went 3 for 5 with a couple of home runs and 2 RBIs. That's upstairs again to Wiley. Well, that's actually strike 1 called. And it's a ball and a strike to Wiley, the left fielder in this game. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, a runner at first and nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. The Airhogs have been able to get out of a few jams in this game, but they don't want to allow too many more base runners for the Lemurs, as they can score in bunches, as the Airhogs know from earlier this year. This gets past Brian Peterson and into the backstop. Alonso will take second on the wild pitch. So now the runner is in scoring position with nobody out for a man who already has 4 RBIs in this game. It's 2 balls and 1 strike now to Byron Wiley. Bozeman looks in, now starts his movement towards the mound, and that's a swing and a miss on a fastball. Now an even count at 2-2 to Byron Wiley. Started out this year in Kansas City, now finds himself in Laredo. In his last 5 games, he was 0 for 16, but he's turning that around so far in this one, going 2 for 2 with 4 runs driven in. The 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's called strike 3 on a curveball from Bozeman, and he rings up Byron Wiley for out number 1 in the 7th. The catcher, Carlos Ramirez, is the next batter. 2 for 3 tonight is Ramirez. RBI double in the 2nd inning, and then a single in the 4th. Ramirez, a right-handed batter against Bozeman, the right-handed reliever. A runner on second base with 1 out. Airhogs lead it 9-6 in the second of this 3-game set. That's a check swing from Ramirez on a pitch a little low from Bozeman. Bozeman, a 24-year-old right-handed pitcher from the DFW area. He played for the Fort Worth Cats the last few seasons. Started out this year for Lincoln in the AA, and then signed by the Airhogs mid-year. That's outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Ramirez, the catcher, and hitting in the 8th spot in the lineup. Here's the pitch from Bozeman. Again, low and outside. 3-0 now to TJ Bozeman, and calling time is Alex Nunez. He's going to talk with his pitcher out there, trying to calm down Bozeman, who's in relief of Jason Jarvis, looking for win number 5 and his 4th consecutive win. Carlos Ramirez from Tucson, Arizona. He's 26 years old, and he's going to get plunked by this pitch on the left shoulder, and that's a costly base runner once again. The 3rd hit batsman in the game for Airhogs pitching. And it'll bring up Harrison Kane, the 3rd baseman. TJ Bozeman is probably going to get yanked now as Eric Champion is walking out to the pitcher's mound. Eric Champion hasn't made an official signal to the bullpen just yet. There is a little bit of action for the Airhogs in the pen. I can't see who is warming up, but it appears to be a right-hander. And Bozeman will walk back to the dugout. So his night is finished after a full inning pitched. And the Airhogs will make another pitching move here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So we'll be back with runners at first and second base and 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Airhogs lead 9-6. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Airhogs still lead 9-6, but it's runners at first and second base in the bottom of the 7th inning for the Lemurs. 1 out so far, and a new pitcher on the mound for the Airhogs. It is right-hander Tobin Matejcek. Matejcek, a rookie out of Cameron University. He's 23 years old, and will make appearance number 8 of the season in relief. That is going to hit Harrison Kane. And the 2nd hit batsman, the 2nd consecutive hit batsman in the game, and the 4th hit batter by Airhogs pitching in this one. And it's going to load the bases with 1 out. And that is certainly not something you want to do as a relief pitcher just coming into the game, as Harrison Kane will take first on the hit batter. And now the top of the order is to the plate. Tying run at first base now for the Lemurs, and Nick Van Straten will dig in. 0 for 3 tonight is Van Straten, but he's got the 9th best batting average in the league. First pitch is taken for strike 1, a check swing. Tobin Matejcek an ERA of 10.57. He's given up 9 earned runs in 7 2/3 innings of work, a record of 0-1 this year for the Airhogs. Hit high in the air to left. Madison Carter charging in. He's going to make the grab. Tagging but not scoring is Alonso. He is not going to go to home on out number 2 by Van Stratton. And that is a big out for Matejcek. So now with 2 outs and the bases loaded, J.P. Ramirez is the batter. Ramirez had a home run last night to right field, which is a rare occurrence in this stadium. That's the first time that anyone this year has gone deep to right, with the wind constantly blowing from right to left field at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Ramirez so far in tonight's game is 2 for 3 with a single and a double. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Matejcek is set from the stretch with the bases loaded. Here's the pitch. And it's a fastball just missing inside, it appears, for ball 1. J.P. Ramirez standing at just 5'11", and Tobin Matejcek 6'5" on the mound. That is inside again on the fastball, and it's 2-0 to J.P. Ramirez. The Airhogs got out of the inning without giving up a run in the 6th with the bases loaded in 1 out after an inning-ending double play. Matejcek with the 2-0 pitch to Ramirez in the dirt for ball 3. The Airhogs with a 3-run lead, but the potential tying run is at first base. Bases loaded, 2 outs. J.P. Ramirez the batter, Devin Goodwin on deck. Matejcek trying to get the Airhogs out of this inning. Needs to throw a strike here, and he does so on the inside corner for strike 1. Counts now 3-1 to Ramirez, the DH, batting in the 2-hole. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Here's the 3-1 pitch. And that's on the outside edge of the plate, and Matejcek fights back to work the count full against Ramirez. Bottom of the 7th, bases loaded, 2 outs. Airhogs trying to put the Lemurs away again here. That is lined straight to Jimmy Mojica, and he makes the grab. And another jam escaped by the Airhogs bullpen. The bases were left loaded by the Lemurs. No runs, only 1 hit, and 3 men left on base. We've played 7 here at Unitrade Stadium. The Airhogs still with a 9-6 lead. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball, broadcasting live on Ustream. I'm Andy Humphrey. The Airhogs lead 9-6 over the Laredo Lemurs here on the road at Unitrade Stadium, the second of this three-game set. Now in the 8th inning, and the Lemurs will make another move to the bullpen. Tyler Pearson, the right-hander for the Laredo Lemurs. He is going to go to the All-Star game as well on Tuesday. Pearson this year with a record of 6-4, was moved to the bullpen on July 12th, has made 8 relief appearances since then, also 10 starts this year, a total of 68 innings pitched. 29 years old from Ukiah, California. And in his second year with Laredo, first batter he'll face is Abel Nieves. He delivers ball 1 to Nieves, who is 2 for 4 tonight with a couple of singles. That's hit high in the air to right field. Dennis Phipps underneath it. And the wind blows it a little shallower into right. And it's out number 1. Next batter is Jason Botts. Josh Strawn leaves the game to make way for Pearson. Strawn, the former Air Hog, went an inning of scoreless work, gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. Pearson, the 4th pitcher used by Pete Incaviglia in this game. He yanked his starter, Mike Shreves, after just 1+, giving up 9 runs on 7 hits in the first and second innings. Jason Botts looks at ball 1, or actually that's strike 1 on the lower third there. Botts tonight on his 34th birthday is 2 for 2 with a couple of singles and a couple of walks. He drove in a run in the second inning. He has 2 home runs in his last 2 games to give him 8 this year. He's also 3rd in the league in RBIs with 51. Checks his swing but looks at strike 2, and it's a ball and 2 strikes now to Botts. Brian Myro on deck for the Airhogs, the 3-run lead, and the Airhogs need to think about getting some insurance runs here. They haven't scored since the second inning, and the Lemurs have been knocking on the doorstep ever since. This is lined foul down the left side. And it's still a ball and 2 strikes to the first baseman, Botts. A switch hitter batting lefty against the right-handed pitcher, Tyler Pearson. It's been all righties so far for Laredo pitching on the mound in this game. Pearson set from the stretch, and here's the 1-2. Just a little outside on a changeup. Tyler Pearson works a lot with the fastball, 84 to 90 miles per hour. Also has an 81 to 86 mile per hour cutter, as well as a slider, a curveball, and a changeup in his arsenal. 2-2 pitch is just inside to Botts, and a full count now. 1 out and nobody on base in this top of the 8th inning. Airhogs have out-hit the Lemurs 14-10. 9-6 is your score in favor of Grand Prairie. Looking to take this series tonight. They won the opener last night 6-3. This is popped in the air, foul down the left side. Botts has really improved on his batting average in recent weeks. 302 hitter now. Hovered around 270 to 280 in the late parts of June and the middle part of this July. And he's going to draw a walk here, his 3rd of the night. So, pitcher is really not wanting to pitch too much to Jason Botts on his birthday, the day in which he turns 34 years old. So he's on first with 1 out, and Brian Myro is the next batter. 1 for 3 tonight is Myro, a single in the second inning. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Popped foul on the first pitch, straight back over the screen. Brian Myro has been very successful this year in reaching base. Not really by the base hits, but by the walks. He has 22 walks in just 28 games. This is hit in the air to center field, however, And that's going to be a base hit looping over the head of the shortstop, Goodwin. And Nick Van Straten couldn't get there in time either in center field. And that's going to be a loop single for Brian Myro, who is 2 for 4 tonight. So that'll put runners at first and second base for the next batter, Brian Peterson. Most important hit of the night so far has come from Peterson, a grand slam in the first inning with 2 outs. And that opened up our scoring here in tonight's game. First pitch is hit foul into the screen by Peterson, the former Laredo Lemur. Grounded into a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play in the 6th inning, and last time up, he's 1 for 4 tonight. Now has 6 home runs, or 6 runs batted in, I should say, and 2 home runs with the Airhogs in his 8 games played with them so far. That is lined past the second baseman into right field, and Botts will stay at third base, and the bases will be loaded with 1 out here in this top of the 8th inning. And this is a chance that the Airhogs would not like to let slip through their fingers. Had the bases loaded in the 7th, and then it ended when Eric Baker tried to score on a fly ball into center field by Alex Nunez, but Baker was tagged out at home plate. Frazier Hall is the batter, and he's been reliable in these runners in scoring position situations this year. Already has 1 home run in this game. It came in the first inning after Peterson's grand slam. He lines this one foul down the right side, and it's strike 1. Hall last night went 2 for 4 with a double and a single, driving in 2 runs. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Now the 0-1 pitch is on the way, and it is taken for ball 1 inside. Frazier Hall this year with the bases loaded is 3 for 4 with 7 RBIs. A ball and a strike now to the 26-year-old Frazier Hall. Here's the pitch. Just a little outside on the curveball from Tyler Pearson, and it's now 2-1 the count with the bases loaded and 1 out. Eric Baker is on deck. Botts at third, Myro at second, Peterson at first. Set from the stretch is Pearson. Here's the pitch. And it's in there for called strike 2. Now the count moves even to 2 balls and 2 strikes to Frazier Hall. Airhogs have not scored since the 2nd inning. We're now in the top of the 8th. They still have their 9-6 lead and have outscored the Lemurs 16-10, but need to get some insurance runs. The 2-2 is on the way. Swing and a miss, and Frazier Hall will sit down for out number 2. A big strikeout from Tyler Pearson, the All-Star. Now the batter is Eric Baker with the bases loaded and now 2 outs. Baker tonight 0 for 1, popped up in foul territory to the first baseman in the 4th inning, drew a walk in the 7th, and was tagged out at home, just like he was last night when he started in center field, going 0 for 3. First pitch to Baker. That's taken for strike 1. Baker with the bases loaded this year has come up quite a bit. 12 at-bats in these situations. He is 3 for 12 with 8 RBIs with the bases juiced. The 0-1. A half swing, and it's strike 2. Baker knew that he didn't want to swing at that one, but he decided that a little too late, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded and 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. The Airhogs with a 3-run lead, but in danger of leaving the bases loaded once again in this 8th inning. The 0-2 pitch is a little low and away. A ball and 2 strikes to Eric Baker, who came in the 3rd inning for Ride Rodriguez, shifted in defensively into center field, moving Madison Carter to left. Rodriguez left the game after going 0 for 2. Madison Carter on deck if Baker reaches and drives in a run here. The 1-2 pitch upstairs on the fastball from Pearson. An even count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Eric Baker, the rookie out of Rogers State in Claremore, Oklahoma. 26 years old in his first professional year. Trying to come up big for the Air Hogs here in this top of the 8th inning to extend their 3-run lead. Air Hogs trying to even the season series between these two this year. They're right now 3-4 against them. A swing and a foul tip into the backstop by Baker, and he stays alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Eric Baker on the season with Grand Prairie, batting .223 with 20 runs batted in. Right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Pearson on the 2-2 pitch. Popped foul down the right side, and it will go out of play. The Air Hogs took a 9-0 lead through 1.5 innings here at Unitrade Stadium. Then the Lemurs answered with 2 runs in the second, 1 in the 4th, and 3 in the 5th. That's where we stand now at 9-6. Pearson delivers home on the 2-2 pitch. That is looped into right. Phipps is there to make the catch on the run. And the Air Hogs leave the bases loaded in the 8th. No run score on 2 hits, 3 men left by the Air Hogs, and it is still 9-6 going to the bottom of the 8th inning. You are listening to Grand Prairie Air Hogs Baseball. Welcome back. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Air Hogs lead the Laredo Lemurs 9-6 and will make another move to the pen. It is Brett Wallach, the right-hander. Wallach this season, an ERA of 5.71, a record of 3-0, 17 appearances now with the Air Hogs, 17 and a third innings pitched. A rookie out of the Chicago Cubs minor league system, played for Daytona in 2012. And Brett Wallach is 25 years old. Appeared briefly last night. Only a third of an inning worked in the 7th in relief of Trevor Harden, the starter. Only faced 1 batter and really just did his job against the right-handed batter for the Laredo Lemurs. And The batter he'll face to start off this 8th inning is Devin Goodwin, followed by Travis Denker and Dennis Phipps in the lineup for Laredo. Goodwin tonight, 2 for 4, a double in the 1st inning, a single in the 6th. Righty versus righty, Brett Wallach working from the windup to start out this 8th. Here's the pitch. And it's low in the dirt for ball 1. Devin Goodwin is 3rd in the league with 13 home runs, hitting .302 here at home. That's compared to his normal batting average of .287. Righty versus righty. The next pitch was in there for called strike 1. Now here's the 1-ball-1-strike pitch from Brett Wallach. A chopper to the shortstop Mojica. Going to have to quickly throw, and safe is the call at first base. As that's an infield hit from Devin Goodwin on the slow chopper to shortstop by Mojica. It appeared to be very close at the first base bag. But it'll be an infield hit for Devin Goodwin to bring up Travis Denker, 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. Last night went 2 for 3. And trying to come up big for the Lemurs as their home run and RBI leader this year. Also the league leader in home runs and RBIs. Wallach from the stretch delivers the first pitch to Denker, and it's taken for strike 1. Denker, a veteran out of Brea, California, is 28 years old. Only stands at 5'11". Brett Wallach on the mound is 6'4". A runner at first and nobody out in the bottom of the 8th. Low and away on the next pitch from Wallach, and it's a ball and a strike to Denker. 3-run lead for the Air Hogs. They have out-hit the Lemurs 16-11. One costly error in the first inning by Laredo, which could have ended the inning without any runs on the board for Grand Prairie. That's why all the runs in the first inning are unearned to the starting pitcher, Mike Shreves. The 1-1 pitch is in there for called strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Travis Denker. Dennis Phipps on deck. Denker has been in many different minor league systems. The Dodgers, the Giants, the Red Sox, the Padres, and the Mariners in his long career. One-two pitch is on the way. Just a little outside from Brett Wallach, and an even count now at 2-2. Runner at first base, nobody out. The Air Hogs have gotten out of a couple of bases-loaded jams in the last couple of innings. Would like to avoid that in this one. Certainly Eric Champion would. The 2-2 pitch now on the way from Wallach. That is called strike 3 on a fastball. Travis Denker doesn't like the call. Chats a little bit with Marty Bauer, the home plate umpire. But he won't get the call he wants. It's the second time that he has struck out in this game. And the 4th strikeout for Air Hogs pitching tonight. 1 out, a man on first, and the next batter, Dennis Phipps. He is also 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 5th inning. Last time he was up in the 6th, grounded into a 4-3 double play with the bases loaded. That ended the inning. Outside on the first pitch from Wallach, and it's ball 1. Dennis Phipps joined the Lemurs on June 21st, went 4 for 5 against Amarillo on July 5th, and has been a very reliable source of offense since joining the team. Certainly has been since the Air Hogs this year, against the Air Hogs this year, I should say. And he's also hitting .419 against right-handed pitchers. That leads the team. Wallach, the right-handed reliever, the fourth pitcher used by Eric Champion in the game, with a runner at first and one out. A move to first base, and Botts didn't handle the throw. He knocked it in front of the first base bag. It looked like he had the tag in time if he had taken the ball with him. But Goodwin sliding in safely. Goodwin this year leads the Lemurs with 19 stolen bases. He's only been caught twice this year. 1-1 pitch, swung on and foul tipped into the screen by Phipps. And a ball and 2 strikes to the right fielder. Another veteran. He is 29 years old, just turned 29 earlier this week. In his first 31 games with the Lemurs, he's batting .377. Wallach looks in, now sets at the belt. The 1-2 pitch now comes home, and that is a breaking pitch, just low and away to Phipps. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck, John Alonso. Leadoff single by Goodwin. He's at first with 1 out in the 8th. 3-run lead for the Grand Prairie Airhawks. It's bounced on the ground to third. Nieves to second. Over to first for Nunez, and it's not going to get there in time as Botts couldn't handle the throw. Knocked it in front of him to keep it from going out of play into the Lemurs dugout on the first base side. But Phipps will reach on the fielder's choice. It's now 2 outs in the 8th inning. A 5-4 put out on Goodwin, the lead runner, for out number 2, and John Alonso is the next batter. Alonso tonight, 2 singles, 2 walks. 3 runs scored for the first baseman as well. And the last time he was up in the 7th inning, he reached base and got all the way to third. So Alonso turning around against the Airhogs in this game after going 0 for 3 last night. That's taken for strike 1 from Brett Wallach. John Alonso was the American Association Player of the Month for the month of June. .426 batting average in June. That's 26 for 61. A check swing. Did he go around? No. The first base umpire, Sean Hicks, gives the safe signal, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to John Alonso, the first baseman, batting in the 6th hole. Alonso with the 4th best batting average in the league at .343, and that's saying something since he spent some time on the DL earlier this season. Righty versus righty, Wallach will deliver home. And that's called strike 2 at the knees of John Alonso. The 28-year-old veteran from Orlando, Florida, in his 2nd year with the Lemurs. A runner at first base and 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Brett Wallach trying to finish out this 8th without giving up a run. The 1-2 to John Alonso is swung on and foul tipped behind Brian Peterson. And Peterson now calls time and goes to the pitcher's mound to talk with his rookie reliever, Brett Wallach. Our starter was Jason Jarvis. He worked 5 1/3 and is in line for the win, giving up 6 runs on 8 hits, 2 strikeouts, 4 walks. TJ Bozeman, an inning of relief with no runs given up on 2 hits. And then Tobin Matejcek finished out the 7th inning with 2/3 of an inning without any runs given up, or hits for that matter. The bullpen kept the Lemurs scoreless last night and has done a good job of that in recent weeks. They didn't allow a single run against the Quebec Capitals in the Airhogs' last home series. So the bullpen has really come through for the Airhogs. This is lined into center field, and it's going to bounce in front of Eric Baker. John Alonso with the base hit, his 3rd single of the night. He is 3 for 3. And he puts runners at first and second base with 2 outs. That'll bring up Byron Wiley. And Eric Champion is out of the dugout, trying to signal to the bullpen to get somebody warming up. Right now, I don't see anybody throwing pitches out there in the bullpen, which is located on the left field line, as Eric Champion is going to make a signal to the bullpen, as there was somebody warming up who was obstructing my view. And we'll see who it is, as Wallach will go back to the dugout after 2/3. So runners at first and second base, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Airhogs still with a 3-run lead, trying to close out this inning and this victory. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhogs Baseball. Bottom of the 8th inning, runners at first and second base. And the Lemurs trying to threaten here as the Airhogs lead at 9-6. Dakota Watts will come in from the bullpen to attempt to make a 4-out save here in the second of this 3-game set. Watts got the save last night with a scoreless 9th inning, only giving up 1 hit against the Lemurs. He now has 15 saves this year, which is 4th best in the American Association, behind Marshall Schuler, Matt Navarez, and Dan Sattler. Dakota Watts this season with an ERA of 3.21, a record of 0-2, 33 2/3 innings pitched in 30 games pitched this year. Has not made a 4-out save all season. Will try to do so tonight. First batter he'll face is Byron Wiley. He has done well tonight. 2 for 3 with a double and a home run. Watts delivers home. This is hit high in the air to right. Frazier Hall positioning underneath it. He will make the grab for out number 3. So Watts gets out of the 8th and will most likely come back to the 9th inning to try and finish out the 4-out save. No run score on 2 hits for the Lemurs. They lead 2 on base paths. And our score is still 7-6 Airhogs. Welcome back to Grand Prairie Airhawks baseball. We start the 9th inning here in Laredo, Texas. Chad Povich is on the mound for the Laredo Lemurs, the 5th pitcher used by Pete Incaviglia. Povich appeared last night against Grand Prairie in the 9th inning, allowed only 1 run on no hits, 1 walk and no strikeouts. This season he has 12 saves with the Lemurs in 30 games pitched, a 2-3 record, an ERA of 3.30. First batter he faces is Madison Carter. He takes strike 1 on the outside edge. Carter tonight 3 for 4 with 3 singles. Povich working from the windup. And here is the 0-1. This is lined foul into the seats to make it no balls and 2 strikes. Well, the Airhogs have left 11 men on base in this game. And that's a swing and a miss by Carter, and he will strike out quickly for out number 1 in this 9th inning. The Airhogs have left bases loaded in the last 2 innings against the Lemurs and have a 3-run lead in this 9th inning against Laredo. Jimmy Mojica is the batter. 1 for 4 tonight is Mojica with a run scored, and that's a swing and a miss on the first pitch from Povich. Povich comes in relief of Tyler Pearson. No runs given up on 2 hits, a walk and a strikeout for Pearson in a full inning of work. Lined up the middle, fielded by Travis Denker, the second baseman. Throws across his body to first to make the out on the speedy runner, Jimmy Mojica. That's 2 down. Now Alex Nunez is the batter. He is 3 for 5 tonight. 2 singles, a double. 2 runs scored as well as an RBI in this game, as the Airhogs have out-hit the Lemurs 16-12 and outscored them 9-6. Top of the 9th inning, first pitch hit high in the air to center. And Nick Van Straten is there to make the catch. A quick 9th inning, 1-2-3 inning for Chad Povich. And we will move to the bottom of the 9th, where the Airhogs will try to close it out. You're listening to Grand Prairie Airhogs baseball. Welcome back. It's the bottom of the 9th now. The Airhogs 9, the Lemurs 6. Dakota Watts trying to close out the game for the Airhogs with a 4-out save. Only needed 2 pitches against Byron Wiley in the 8th inning to end the 8th. And now we'll face the 8-9-1 hitters in the lineup for Laredo. That's Carlos Ramirez, Harrison Kane, and Nick Van Straten. Ramirez tonight is 2 for 3, a double and a single. Drove in a run in the 2nd inning on that double. Righty versus righty in this matchup. Here's the first pitch. It's taken for called strike 1 on the outside corner. Well, the Airhogs have left 11 men on base, but the Lemurs have left 13. We've had very many